to order. Monday, March 13, 2017, at 6:30. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes for January 19th
Yeah.
and February 27th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of Thursday, January 19th, 2017, as written.
Have a motion, have a second?
Okay. I feel like I'm
Have a motion and a
following.
second. Any other discussion?
Sure.
I see none. John?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Doug, you're signing these, right? You signing these?
I've never signed them before.
Really?
Yep.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of Monday, February 27th, 2017, as written.
Okay, have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion concerning the minutes?
Recuse.
See none. John?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
John,
Yes?
I'm going to recuse myself for the license because we're related.
Okay. Peaceful Pines Automated Amusement License. Holly, can you give me some feedback?
Yeah, this is the same thing they get every year. It's just an automatic amusement license.
Okay.
They've done everything they need to do to get it. The police chief goes once you guys vote on it, and just to double check how many auto amusements they have, and then we issue the license.
Okay. And the license is specific to how many electronics they have, correct?
Yes, there should be, and there should be 4 on there.
Right. Okay.
I would make a motion that we approve the license for the Peaceful Pines for automatic amusement
Okay, I have a motion.
machines.
Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion concerning Peaceful Pines?
Just,
Yes.
could you just let everybody know how many amusements we're talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about one pool table, 2 electronic games, and 1 pinball game. Okay, motion and a second. Any other discussion? I see none. John?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. You have the original for signature inside the office?
Yes,
Holly, thank you.
it's actually right here.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Ish.
You're all set. All good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, we got a little time before the poll hearing. Diane, do you want to talk about the procurement issue? You want to talk about that?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, it's really not, I guess I just wanted to know where it stood.
Mhm.
We had sent an email, and
Yeah.
I know that we had training, but I felt like that wasn't enough. And I wanted them to look at our contracts and all of that kind of stuff, so I wanted to know where that stood.
Okay.
Or if they're coming or not coming, or, I mean, I gave you all a copy of the email.
Yes.
Should I read it?
No, I got it.
So I'm not really sure where that
Well,
is.
what I know, what I've done is looked at it a little bit myself, and 30B violations that date back from what I can see past 2012, multitudes of violations concerning the 30B contracting. I think the major issue is that we don't have a procurement officer. We haven't had one in a long time, and the fact that the Board of Selectmen office should be the procurement office for all contracts. We should maintain all contracts for a public view, so the public has the right to come in and view whatever contracts they want to look at any time that they want to look at during business hours. Unfortunately, we don't have a policy on that yet either. So I did entrust Mr. Tenzini to look at that, procurement / policy on contracts. The 30B class that went on March 8th, I believe, and we had about 42 people that attended? Mr. Tenzini, was it 42?
Yes, roughly.
Roughly. All the people in Templeton that needed to attend that class, I think were there and present. But again, all contracts should filter through, or go through the Board of Selectmen office. And that's how I think it should go this point forward. But again, until we get a policy in place and we, as a collective group, vote on that, that's the only way we're gonna get a better handle on who's doing the contracts. The same with grants. Grants is another big issue in this community, because everybody does their own grants. That's great, but the Board of Selectmen have no idea what's going on with those grants. Number one, if they applied for them, number two, if they got them, and then how they're gonna apply them based on the grant policy, or the grant legislation that they're going through. So
Well, I
like.
agree that we have to have a policy, but there's already a state statute, which is Chapter 30B.
Mhm.
And it was clearly violated, and it doesn't really matter how many years it was violated. It was definitely violated
yeah.
during my board term.
Mhm.
So I think it's just a matter of, I mean, it's nice that they came and did training, and other towns came, and there was, our treasurer was not there. So that would have been a key person to come, but neither here nor there. I had asked for a memorandum. I had wanted to make sure that the exact issue was known. I had asked to get out ahead of it. So, I mean, it is gonna be in the management report, so,
Yes.
I mean, it's a pretty serious offense in my opinion, in that, it's taken 3 board meetings to get it on the agenda, and I believe I had given a copy to Christine.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of, maybe when the management letter comes out,
I think as far as the state's concerned, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Tenzini, I believe you talked to the Attorney General's office, and as far as what they're telling us is.
Inspector General?
Well, the Inspector General, excuse me, the IG's office, is that, that the class needed to be to be done.
I understand that.
I mean,
Ms. Carter and I have talked about that.
So what other things does the IG office expect us to do? I mean, do they wanna come down here, or, I mean, do you expect them to come down here?
I don't. What I said to them was to relay what had happened and to ask them what I could do to provide them with a level of confidence that it would not happen again. They took a day or maybe 2, I don't recall exactly, to get back to me, and suggested the on-site class, which we've done.
Okay.
So unless they come back out, from what I know, they're done with this matter. If this board wishes to take further action, by all means, determine what that action is that you wish to have taken, vote upon it, and the staff will carry out that vote.
Okay. You got something, John?
Yeah, what we need to do is, we need to have a certified purchase officer. And
We
that
need to have a
person,
certified what?
purchase officer, you have to take, is
A procurement officer?
a procurement officer, excuse me. But somebody has to, we have to designate somebody, they have to take the course and become certified. And technically, until we do that, we're gonna have these issues. Now, the other issue is, as far as the physical custody of the contracts, I believe state law says that those belong in the presence of the accountant.
Which I'm sure they are. But but they're still a matter of public record.
They are, but I'm saying that's where they should be kept, not in the selectman's office.
Right. But it's up to us to look at them all and to make sure, we do have to have a policy based on all of the things that were said, at the training, and that needs to be something that happens right away.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
all
we'll-
contract is a matter of, should come to us to be voted on and approved
That's right.
and signed by the chair.
Okay, so who signed all the contracts for town hall?
I have no idea.
It's a good,
Exactly that.
yeah, that was.
Who signed all the contracts for town
Well,
hall?
we're gonna go into a poll hearing at this time at 6:40, to be on time. So I put the poll hearing into session. Mr. Berry, you here? Hey, Mr. Berry, how are you? Can you give me a little rundown? Thank you, sir.
This hearing is to replace some poles on Henshaw Road and Henshaw Lane.
Right.
I see Mr. Barnes. Yeah, right. I have petitioned Verizon, their joint owned poles, so they have agreed to the work per their half-cost contract that we have with them.
Mhm.
A lot of the poles on those roads are, I think they're from 1935, and particularly the ones on Henshaw Lane, they're 25 feet tall, with cross arms bolted to the top of them for the high voltage wire.
Right.
They're just, they need to be replaced. In storm situations, we're out there sometimes multiple times.
Okay. Are you decreasing the span from pole to pole as well?
Yes, yeah, we're adding a few poles too. Some of the, I don't know if you have a copy of the drawing, but you
I
can see
do.
some of the spans go as much as, 260 feet.
Right.
Ideally, like to keep it around 150, 170 if you can. It just makes for a, a stronger line. And also, there are three poles that we can't really even get to with the trucks where it goes, transitions from Henshaw Road to Henshaw Lane. There's a little right-of-way there. We've been maintaining them up until now by climbing them, but they're really not even safe to climb anymore. So we'd really like to get those out of there.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So they're right-of-ways and not easements? So how did you end up on that property if it's a right-of-way? Like, who's given the right-of-way to whom?
Where those poles veer off the road, I'm assuming it's a right-of-way. I'm not,
Well, a right-of-way is normally given from one landowner to either maybe people next door or to be able to pass over a property. You're not allowed to have even anything on it. You can't block it. You can't build vegetation. You can't do anything. So I guess it's a matter of, so you're removing them from that right-of-way? You're not putting anything back on them?
right, we're getting them out of there, putting them to the side of the road.
Is there special permission that needs to be asked for that? I mean, a right-of-way is a legal.
Well, if they're on a right-of-way now, they may have an easement to be there on the property. Without going back and look at the poles, and he says this goes back to
1935.
Right, yeah.
Well, it would be in their deed, whatever ones you think are, it would say, in maybe either the next person's deed that this landowner, and it's confusing. It's not like it says like it's an easement, but that right-of-way is given to someone else by a different property holder, and I just would wanna make sure that we're doing the correct things, that's all. And we're not encroaching on property that's not, entitled to, be there, that's all.
Yeah, like you were saying, we're not adding anything, we're getting out of there and putting it to the side of the,
And all the abutters know that you'll be there and that you're taking stuff, right? That's normally, you have to send out a letter to the abutter. I'm sorry, I didn't,
Yeah, it's right here.
did I? Okay, is it two-sided? Like, what does the letter say?
There's an example of it in there, right behind.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was, okay, can I just? Okay.
Anybody else, any other questions?
That was my
You're
only-
gonna do the work, correct?
Any of the abutters here?
Mr. Barnes?
Mr. Barnes, how are you?
Good.
Have you had a chance to hear me?
Those poles were put in 1955. They were secondhand poles. They came out of the Haskell Road when they took out the line that went up to Ahoe's.
Okay,
And since I was building a house on a pretty low budget, the town gave me the poles, told me where to dig the holes, and I had the holes dug, and then they put them in. Why they went out through the swamp behind the orchard, I have no idea. I didn't know then, and I don't know now. But I think it was because it was shorter, so they had less wire and,
it would be cheaper in cost.
but remember, at that time, my house was the only house down there.
Right.
And I don't think they anticipated that Haley would move down there and that there would be more customers.
Okay.
But those poles are pretty shaky.
Okay, and you have no objections to the poles being changed out?
No, I don't have.
Okay.
I thought that this should be done a long time ago.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Anybody else from the abutters list? No? You guys have anything for Mr. Berry? Okay. All right, I'll come out of the hearing. Have a motion come out of the hearing?
So moved.
A second? Coming out of the hearing?
Second.
Okay, motion second, any discussion? See none? John? Diane?
Yes.
Doug, and I vote yes as well. Can I get a motion for the,
I make a motion for the Templeton Municipal Light and Water to install 3 utility poles on Henshaw Road and 14 poles on Henshaw Lane as shown in the attached drawings and maps.
okay, I have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Tied, goes to Doug. Motion second, any other discussion? I see none. John?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Ms. Berry, thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you, sir, for coming in. Go off agenda for a second. Ms. Morrison, do you want to come forward?
You all have a statement. I handed it out. And I'm here to apologize for my response at the last meeting, February 27th. The language that I used was not appropriate for a public meeting. A copy of this letter has been made available for the chairman of the Council on Aging Board. I have also made certain that a copy of this letter was put in my personnel file. Again, I apologize for the inappropriate language, and it won't happen again.
Well, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Diana.
Thanks, Diane. Action regarding the blood drive permit for the Roger P. Warfield American Legion Auxiliary Unit 373 in Baldenville.
Does it matter where I sign?
Where is it? Blood drive?
Just
Boot drive, excuse me, boot drive.
Okay.
Blood drive's down at the Camelot. Get those confused. Boot drive permit. Was that given you too, Holly?
What?
The boot drive? Oh, here it is.
That's in there, yeah.
Is there anyone here for that, or?
No, it was Sue
Okay,
from
so
the
we've,
assessor's office.
this is,
submitted it.
how many years is it that they've been doing this? Do you know for how long?
I don't.
Do you remember?
I
Okay,
think
so,
for quite a while.
usually just, everything that's in here is the same, that they've done before, and they know. I saw this time that, the CERT team was, reached out to, but I don't think that the CERT team has ever helped them with anything. It was just more of an FYI. I had never seen that before, but, I would make a motion to approve, the boot drive to be held on May 13th from 8 AM until 8 AM to 11 AM on Central Street in Baldwinville.
Okay, have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, tie goes to John. Any other discussion, turn the boot drive? I see none. John?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
sorry.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Mr. Tanzini, action on nomination of the fire chief for the town of Templeton.
Mr. Chairman, I would respectfully ask that the board hold the executive session prior to vote, should there be any of the issues of negotiation that impact that nomination.
Understood.
If there are no substantive issues, I would respectfully suggest that the board could perhaps adjourn to our offices quickly. I don't know if there's anything of great detail to be discussed in the draft that we gave you.
So we can just go on, we have to make a motion, John, or to go into executive
Yes, I'm just
session
suggesting that we might perhaps move
instead
easier
of
than all
moving them,
these,
yeah.
these fine folks.
All right. Okay, First Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Bullets Alpha and Bullets 2, strategy sessions of contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Need a motion to go into executive session under that chapter, 30 Alpha.
And will we be coming back out into open session?
And we would come back out to open session, yes.
So moved.
Okay, motion second?
Second.
Second, any other discussion? I see none. John? Diane?
Oh, yes.
Doug? Yes. And I vote yes as well. We're gonna take ourselves into the Board of Selectmen office real quick.